So I wanted to talk obviously about mobile ads, and mainly because I think it's pretty timely. So we're hearing from a lot of advertisers that they're now seeing this as the viable platform for advertising as it is. And I wanted to talk about ads in two ways. So first, I wanted to share a lot of numbers that we have, not to preach to the choir because I know everyone in this room is here because we're excited by the growth of the space. We've either worked directly on it or have heard a lot about it, but rather to give some of Google's perspective on the overall growth in the space. And I feel like at Mobile Mondays, we often look at a particular sector or a particular type of app and see the growth there, but I wanted to zoom out just a little bit. And secondly, I wanted to show, obviously, the ads themselves, and show the types of ads that I think are best suited for the unique behaviors that we're seeing on mobile devices. So I know a lot of us work directly in mobile ads, but many don't, and excuse me if some of this is elementary for those who aren't familiar in the audience. But I wanted to take us through really just 4 areas. So the main categories as we see them for advertising are searching, browsing, looking at apps, and watching video. Starting off with numbers, and this might be old news to a bunch of us, but to put it in perspective. So the first ad here on the right, Google mobile traffic. We've seen increase 5-fold over the last 2 years coming from mobile. And if we look at this and compare it to the early growth of the web, the early growth of Google.com on desktop, it's very similar. Exciting for everyone in this room is that this is accelerating. For example, in the past 6 months on Android devices, we've seen a 3-fold increase in traffic. That's partly due to the proliferation that Steve spoke to, but nevertheless, it's a huge growth. And then raise your hand if you've seen this stat before. Within the next 3 years, half of web traffic will come from mobile devices. Has anyone heard that stat before? Not as many as I thought. It's incredible, isn't it? To put it in perspective, and of course it depends on which analyst you're looking at, but trusting ComScore and where we are with mobile traffic today compared to what this would be, it's like 5,000 people a day moving to Boston for 3 years. So it's really sizable growth. And what we're seeing is really 3 things that are uniquely different, or I guess amplified, on mobile for ads. We're talking to advertisers about this. First is, mobile is so much more personal than the desktop. I think a lot of us, again, are familiar with this concept. But what I'm showing here is not an ad, but a coupon from our Google Places. And I think the power in this is being able to track an individual user from an online interaction to an offline or in-store purchase. And so the couponing industry to grow to $6.5 billion in the next few years, and location-based services to really explode is going to be powerful. The second thing we're hearing and talking a lot about is how local is a big part of mobile. So we're seeing a lot of local intent come through on queries coming from a mobile device compared to desktop. This is just an image of our expandable map ad that users can engage by clicking a top banner, drops down into a map that you can now play around with. And then finally, and most obviously, search is so much more connected from the device. And so we've enabled more recently a click-to-call ad feature. For those that don't know this, it's simply placing a phone number within the ad. The user can click on the phone number. It will open up the phone's dialer and direct call to the business. And marketers are finding a lot of value in this in 2 ways. So first, they're getting a much more rich engagement with a potential customer, which is always great. And the second is the way Google is pricing these. So we're pricing these clicks the same as a visit to the website. And a great case of this is Esurance, an auto insurance provider out of San Francisco, whose motto for a time was actually, people when you want them, technology when you don't. And they thought this fit really well with their strategy. So they deployed the click-to-call ads and noticed they were able to lower their cost of acquiring customers 20 to 30%. Because again, the minimal cost of driving people to a sales representative and the high engagement they got out of that cost. I think we also recognize though that phone is becoming less of a phone, right? Here's a Morgan Stanley graph showing that iPhone users are talking on the phone half as much as traditional phone users. Now, a lot of this time is being consumed emailing and texting.
Doesn't work.
What's that? Doesn't work, he says. Whether it works or not. No. A lot of this is being consumed by email and text, but you're throwing me off with it doesn't work on the competition. But I actually read a stat last night that said 1 in 7 minutes of media consumed is happening over the mobile device. So first of all, we're all in the right room, in the right group. but that's astounding to me. 1 in 7 minutes from the mobile device. We're also seeing device manufacturers come along, right? iPad is a great example, the proliferation of tablets, as Steve said, and publishers as well. Raise your hand if you've read about Nomad Editions coming out. So just a few people. Nomad Editions is coming out in the fall. It's a conglomerate of New York freelance writers and journalists. What they'll be doing is releasing a weekly publication formatted specifically for the mobile device on niche topics like surfing, what have you, and it's to be read in about 20 minutes. And so we're seeing with the behavior, with the devices, with the publishers, our ads should follow. And so this is a screenshot of an AdMob example. We're very excited to be working with AdMob, and this is a multi-layered, engaging ad from ESPN's website, where they're advertising Samsung's 3D TVs. We also talked about Google at Google I/O about our expandable ad set. We're excited about those kind of rich engagements. Moving on, this is old news to all of us, but the numbers behind this are really astounding as well. So to date, 3 billion app downloads and counting. 25% of iPhone and Android users are using apps 2 hours a day. And from the Android side, we're seeing an average of 40 apps being downloaded. So a ton of app usage and downloads. And we've heard two things loud and clear from the app ecosystem. So first is discoverability. I see some heads, probably developers nodding about the importance of discoverability of an app. Our click-to-download app format that we just released is a great solution for this. So simply put, as it sounds, you can display this ad on search results across the web, within other apps. What it is when you click the ad, it goes right to the App Store to actually download that app. Corcoran is a real estate agency in New York that uses this extremely well. They actually were one of the largest New York real estate agents now. I think they were the first, if not one of the first, to create a real estate website in 1995. They launched the click-to-download ad and noticed two things. So first, they're now attributing 20%, about 20% of their app downloads to this format, which is great. And I think more interesting is that we're seeing they saw click-through rates when they're advertising in-app 8 to 10 times higher than on the desktop. So not 8 to 10%, but 8 to 10 times higher, which shows us that users also like the benefit of discovering apps when they're using ones that they already enjoy. The second thing we hear loud and clear and have for a while that's been built into our system is remaining within the app. Users like the experience, they go there for the content of the app, and they don't want to be pulled away by those ads. And so this is one of our newer expandable video ads. Again, a very rich experience within the app. This is a movie trailer, for example. And then finally, switching last to video. So what I think is funny is we're not really becoming more or less of a couch potato culture, but we're sort of dragging our TVs along with us. And the way we're seeing this happen is on YouTube Mobile. And again, the stats here are great. So YouTube Mobile is actually the #2 video website on the web behind youtube.com for the desktop. We're seeing huge engagement, 100 million views a day on average, which is up 300% over the past year. And my favorite stat actually, 24 hours of video being uploaded to YouTube every minute. This is incredible, right? 24 hours of video uploaded every minute. I did some math here, and for Sox fans in the audience, that's more than an inning of Red Sox baseball uploaded to YouTube every second. That's a lot of engagement. So that concludes what I had on mobile ads. But hopefully we're I guess relaying the message that what we're looking to do is understand the behavior of people on mobile and translate that into the best solution for ads, both for marketers as well as the users.